Now this is something relevant to our state visit today. Yo, what the fuck, bro? Motherfuckers can't speak in public, can't show their face in public. Now they can't even write books? Brother, what the fuck? Yo, women in Afghanistan should just lay down and just be baby factories, brother? Huh? Yo, this shit about to piss me off, bro. Holy shit. What the fuck they do? Yeah, I already did this. Yo, you think you America? You think Israel? What the fuck? Holy shit, bro. This is why they're starting to normalize relationships between the Taliban regime and the United States. It's because of this, bro. They see this. Oh, you don't want to teach human rights? I like that. We want you. Huh? What the fuck? Yo, now this is too much. This is too fucking much, bro. Really? Damn. They don't even make enough money, bro. They're trying to make the women stay at home. Fucking, I feel like time is not linear anymore, bro. We go forward, and then we hit a point, and then we hit a huge reverse. We just jump back 50 years. And then we kept going the other way, bro. Holy shit. What the fuck? What kind of world do we live in? Yo, no one fighting with you, bro. Motherfucker just... He's like a influencer that no one cares about. Just doing shit, bro. Doing stunts. Hey, look at me. I got new drones. Look at me. I got new missiles. Yo, no one cares, bro. Stay in your corner. Damn. Yo, how much you will pay? Damn. Huh? What the fuck does this even mean? Everything is fair now? Holy shit. Yeah, everyone's seen this, bro. This is just... Another fucking day, bro. Another fucking day. You had to come out and say it, bro. No! What the fuck they do? Over tourism, yeah. Yeah, everybody pulling up to Machu Picchu, bro. Damn. Nah, if that's not a wonder, what is? Are you being for real? Whew. 5,000 per day, holy shit. Damn, yo. Uncultured swines, bro. Holy shit. Yo, you go to the 7 wonders of the world, bro, and then you pull up, you dump trash? Where the fuck is respect? Damn. Man, they're the ones trying to protect the fucking Machu Picchu, bro. Holy shit. Now they're gonna blame it on them? Huh? Damn. Alright, let's go back to this. Very important part as we segue into Afghanistan. Now, why the fuck they just pulling this shit out of nowhere, bro? They're just hating on China out of nowhere in the middle of a trade talk. Because oh, we need this so that we can be near the nuclear facilities. When you just fucking lobby to say that's a legitimate target? Huh? What the freak? Hell. Look at that. This brings us to this. Oh, fuck. See what he say.
Okay, so let's talk about some international headlines. President Trump saying that he's working to reestablish a U.S. presence at Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. This is 4 years after America's chaotic withdrawal from the country left the base in the hands of the Taliban. The president floating the idea during a press conference with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer as he wrapped up a state visit to the United Kingdom. He tied it to the need for the U.S. to counter its top rival, China. Retired Marine Intelligence Officer and host of the Strap podcast, Hal Kempfer, is here to discuss. Hal has worked with forces going in and out of Bagram in the past. Let's just start off with the basics here, Hal. Why is Bagram important? Why does the U.S. want it back?
Well, Bagram was our big base. It's not that far away from, it's actually in the center, I should say, of Afghanistan. It's not that far away from Kabul itself. The president himself, I think he said 20 miles. I don't know if it's exactly 20 miles away, but it's pretty darn close. And we built it up. I mean, that was our main hub where we brought stuff in. And if you look at that area, the reason it was so important was because the only way we could get stuff in was you had to take it up through Pakistan, or you had to bring it down from the north. And both of those were very difficult routes. Pakistan, of course, the roads that go through Pakistan, that's some areas that are controlled by a number of militia groups that were none too friendly to us. So that was always a difficult way to get stuff in. So a lot of stuff ended up getting flown into Afghanistan. Of course, for those who don't know, it is a landlocked country. The other side, if you go to the other side, the non-Pakistan side, that really is Iran. So obviously nothing we were doing there ever came through Iran. So by virtue of a number of necessities, if you will, Bagram became this major hub for all of our activity. That's where things tended to center, was on Bagram. And of course, President Trump was very critical of the fact that we pulled out of Bagram before we pulled our forces completely out of Afghanistan. And he cited that as the reason it did not end as well as he thought it should have ended.
Do we know what the Taliban has been doing with Bagram in the interim?
Yes, they've been using it. And more importantly, there's been reports coming out consistently that the Chinese have been flying stuff in and out of there and trying to set up operations there. So I think really, and that's actually what President Trump cited, was the fact that China was so close, that it was, not that far away. But, there's a tremendous amount of resources that could be exploited. About $1 trillion worth of rare earths and other materials that could be exploited from Afghanistan. And I think that looking at the economic opportunity, but also...
Yo, there's $1 trillion worth of rare earth there that could be exploited by us, bro. Holy fucking shit, bro. Can you listen to himself?
Doing something that would thwart Chinese influence in the region, that's big. And it may be that we have made some inroads with our relationship with Pakistan. Pakistan has been very open to Chinese Belt and Road initiatives. China has been working a lot with Pakistan. We, on the other hand, have been basically working on a relationship with India for a very long time. And it may be that things are switching. It may be that Pakistan is looking at this. And Pakistan has had some frustration working with China on a number of projects. And it might be that they are kind of working in the background there, trying to say, hey, look, we have communications with the Taliban. We can kind of put this together. I kind of got the impression from what President Trump said that there may already be discussions somewhere directly with the Taliban. He didn't admit that, but I kind of got the impression the way he said it, that it wasn't something he just pulled out of a hat. It was something that was probably ongoing, that was being kept very close hold. You can imagine the politics of something like that.
No. Don't tell me it's like a three-way trade, bro. Holy shit, Pakistan gets a shit ton of money. And then Saudi gets Pakistan's nuclear, and then the US gives Saudi money, and the Saudis shut the fuck up about Qatar. No. Yo. There's a bunch of motherfucker old people who likes money gets a circle jerk, bro.
And that's why I'm assuming that maybe we've had enough success or enough momentum there that he felt that he could say something publicly about it.
Looking at video from earlier today, as Trump was still in the United Kingdom, he met with Prime Minister Keir Starmer today. As you mentioned, this is where this conversation began earlier today. That's what spurred the conversation. So just a question about the nuts and bolts of how something like this would work. Would the U.S. have to negotiate with the Taliban to make this happen?
I can't see any other way. You have to negotiate with the Taliban. They are the government. They may not be the government we want, but they are the government. They control Afghanistan. They control Bagram Air Base. By the way, we're not going to operate in a country surrounded by hostiles. That's just not going to happen. You're not going to be flying stuff in and out of an air base where the entire government there is against you. So you're going to have to come to some sort of agreement with them as far as what we would do. And I have to say, the other side is for the Taliban, this is difficult for them. I mean, let's just say that our relationship with the Taliban has never been good. And ideologically, they're very opposed to everything that the United States represents. So for them, it would be something of an ideological challenge to come to some sort of agreement with the United States that would allow us to operate there. I am, other than blocking China's influence into Afghanistan, I am kind of wondering what exactly is the math that's justifying us wanting to move back in there, because there's it's going to be a lot of expense. It's going to be a lot of work setting something up there. We're going to be putting a number of troops in an area which generally was pretty hostile when we were there last time, and I'm not saying it won't be a little bit hostile this time. Even though the Taliban controls the country, they don't control everything there, and there are other groups there that oppose the Taliban that would certainly also equally oppose us. And I can think of the ISIS organization there that would oppose us and was responsible for some of the stuff we saw when we pulled out of Afghanistan. So I'm kind of wondering how they would negotiate this, put it together, and get us back in there. I'm also kind of wondering what the situation is on the base right now. We left a lot of stuff there, but we would have to go through and look at everything that was there, validate it, make sure there's structural integrity and everything else. Also make sure there's no booby traps or anything like that could have been stuck in there that pose a threat to our troops, and generally just do a lot of security stuff across the board to make sure that base is something that we can operate from again.
So I was reading some reporting in the news wires. The Associated Press says that the Taliban is interested in normalizing ties with the U.S. after experiencing a virtual geopolitical blackout. That's the way they put it. Mm-hmm. They say that the blackout is due to international diplomacy over human rights abuses. Can you elaborate? What type of abuses are we talking about?
Every type,
you can possibly think of.
Yeah.
Torture.
Are you dumb?
One of the things really
this dude live under a fucking rock, bro. This dude, bro. Holy shit. What type of abuse, man? Shut the fuck up, bro. You're just asking filler questions now? Oh. Are you gonna stall for 5 more minutes? Oh, what type of human rights abuse they got over there? Are you dumb?
Creates the West
Holy
across
shit.
The board is the way they treat women and denying education to girls. That has been a big stickler. But the other part is, all the other things that they do, torture, public killings, you name it. They are they're pretty ruthless. I was going to say. They represent a humanity that we probably would have been more familiar with 1,000 years ago, but certainly not today. And that's who they are. They're very barbaric, and they have this very extreme interpretation of Islam.
Hey, what about the ones who just bomb people's fishing boats, bro? Are they barbaric?
which is kind of mixed in. They will never admit this, but it's mixed in with a lot of tribal traditions or traditions, cultural traditions from that area, which go back a very, very long time. It's always been a very isolated area. Although, interestingly, if you go back to the Afghanistan in the 70s, it was a very different place before the Soviets came in. Before the Taliban were ever around or anything like that, it was a very, somewhat tolerant country for a lot of different things. And
Yo, before the US funded them, bro. Hey, before the US went in and funded the Mujahideen, it was kind of cool. And then the Soviets came in because we funded the Mujahideen. And then they turned to the Taliban. Yo, this dude, bro.
it is not that today. It was a very difficult 2 decades that the U.S. was there, where we were trying to create a democracy in that land, and obviously it didn't succeed. So it would be very difficult. But there has been a virtual blackout. I mean, no other countries really want to deal with Afghanistan. The other part is no other countries really have a need to deal with Afghanistan that bad. It is easy to kind of cut them off from all foreign aid. And the U.S. was kind of at the forefront of that, making sure that no foreign aid or very little foreign aid would get there, and whatever got there was very tightly controlled. And they also, the other problem is that they've had a number of challenges within the country. You may have recently saw they had some big earthquake in the eastern part of the country, and they had a very, very difficult time with the government getting in there to help the people who were there. And when there's disasters and the government is sitting there and is seen as something that can't help, that causes them, despite the fact they're not a democracy, that causes them huge internal
Uprise.
pressures, dissension, frustration with the government. And I think that earthquake may have had some ripples, if you will, across the body
Yo,
politic that
this dude, bro, is dropping puns.
they're responding to a
God
certain degree.
damn, bro. Holy shit. Let me see what other news they got coming out today. Oh, they're using the wrong flag. Holy shit, this is not neutral anymore. Oh, it's cold over there. Damn, it's really cold. Holy shit. That's it. Spin duo. Yo, I don't think they care, bro. Holy shit. Yo, they got a propaganda and prohibition of evil. What the? I need to know more about this. Taliban propaganda and prohibition of evil ministry. What the fuck? Yo, you really gotta... Huh? Huh? Ministry of Guidance. What the Holy shit. Oh, they got so many. Nah, this is a way cooler. This is a way cooler name. Propagation of virtue and prevention of vice. Damn. Yo, whoever wrote this, yo, this is a banger right there. Damn. Alright, we can easily give them a 1 here, bro. And this is the lowest one. Like, you can't go any lower than this bullshit, bro. Holy shit. Let's take a look at the architecture. They got some old good ones though, because of where they are at. But you know, they just be bombing them. Oh. Afghanistan architecture. Ooh. Okay. Holy shit. This is just a fucking government building in New Mexico, bruh. Okay, this is kinda cool. This is not. What the fuck is that? Yo, that's someone's dick, bro. Grand Citadel of Herat. Grand Citadel of. Holy shit. Yo, is this Winterfell? But not gray, brown? Holy shit. Nah, they got some bangers. Damn. Okay. Oh. Got some cool shit. Yeah, but it's from some. It's not now though. Like, come on, man. This is some crazy moss. Holy shit. This one? Damn. Yeah, they better keep this site, bro. Holy, who built this? Okay, it's good. They keep the Quran on it. No one's gonna bomb it. Holy shit. Endangered from 2002 until now. Holy shit. Erosion? Damn, bro. Almost 800 years ago? This is insane shit. Damn. Skyline? Yeah, this is not even a good. Man, what the fuck is this, bro? You might as well not show this. Let's see what else they got. Yeah. Oh. Ideas. Motherfucker, I don't need ideas, bro. I need real shit. Damn. Damn. This Herat place, bro. They got it. Whew. This minaret is crazy. Because of this, I'm gonna give them a 6, bro. Just because of that. Let's take a deep dive on their hit. No, let's go to their food first, bro. Let's get some good shit.
In this full-length Afghanistan food marathon, you're gonna see the best.
This is the food that you have to risk being kidnapped in order to try.
And the worst.
Motherfucker, you not getting kidnapped, bro.
There's like 7 guys there. They got like 2 rifles each,
When
and
is this?
they asked for my passport. I didn't know it was
8 days
happen.
ago.
This country has to offer an American traveler like me.
There was just a
Holy
giant
shit.
Ford with the giant turret on the back parked across the street.
From dirt cheap street food in dusty city markets,
This right here is coming in at a wild 98 cents.
all the way to high-end eats only at
Nah, I had some Afghan kebab, bro. Holy shit, bro. That thing slaps.
Afghan millionaires can afford.
This is a meal
I don't know
meant
if
to
it's
feed,
real,
I don't know,
though.
10 to 20 different people, but tonight,
I just ordered
it's
it.
just me and you, baby.
And by the end of it all, I'll be leaving
I don't
right-footed
care about all
five-star
these
owner.
guys.
10% of the nation lives here. The same chaotic, unique taste of
Soft, supple skin. I gotta do this cow's skin routine.
We'll break bread here soon. But first, I'm headed somewhere else to break my fast.
We're gonna be trying Afghan food for the first time in just a moment. But most importantly today, we're gonna get adjusted to how it's actually gonna work here to film video in Kabul. The problem isn't just with officials who
Man,
don't...
yo, you see this shit everywhere in Texas, bro. In Atlanta, you see this shit. You're acting like this is the first time seeing a fucking gun, bro.
but also
Holy
with the people
shit.
themselves. From what I've experienced just in the last day, there are certain people who are open to being shot, maybe for a very short time, but many who want... The nation where we're going to be trying our first Afghan food of this trip.
Okay.
And that food is called chainaki. I'm told chainaki means teapot or tea kettle. Chai might sound familiar, like the word chai tea, which means tea. Here, this man is stuffing all of these different
Tea.
ancient-looking tea kettles with mutton. Wali, salam.
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
You
I don't know what
that
he said,
shit
but that
good.
sounded very polite.
Wally is a
Damn.
second-generation owner of this 70-year-old eatery, but this cooking technique goes back centuries.
Right here we have a sample tea kettle. He has some different cuts of the sheep, including the doomba, the butt
Yo,
fat
they
meat
just
of
fucking break off the handle part.
the sheep, plus some protein. He stuffs that into the tea kettle.
Water and a pinch of salt follow the sheep meat into the teapots.
The next step is to put dal inside.
Chainaki is food of Afghanistan's nomads, folks who value portable, practical cooking methods, the type of people who don't mind the taste of sheep fat tainting their morning tea.
We're moving on to
I
our
love
next
that shit.
ingredient right here. This is a combination of tomato and onion.
Even after centuries of cookware innovation, a humble clay teapot remains the best choice for chainaki. Its snug lid
Red-ass
traps
tomato.
steam, while its thick walls retain heat, allowing the dish to slow cook for hours at the perfect temperature.
You will actually see there is a wood oven underneath with a fire inside, providing all the heat to these tea kettles right here.
Over the next couple of hours, Wally will be busy tilting, tapping, and timing each teapot, all to ensure each one produces the perfect result. But that is just our protein. In Afghanistan, a meal is not a meal without Afghan bread.
Right now we're in the Afghan bread
you're
making
not wrong.
factory, making one of the most popular types of bread they have in this country, and this stuff is delicious.
This is in
In
every
the back of
travel
this room,
video.
there's literally a bathtub full of dough. Sometimes I'll use a bathtub as a funny form of measurement, like could I have 3 bathtubs full of gravy, please? There's an actual bathtub. The gentleman in the back, he pulls out big globs of dough. He weighs them, and then he forms them into nice, smooth dough balls. Right here, this is where the texture happens. This gentleman right here is flattening the bread, and then on this side, he's kind of
that's the
perforating
flavor
the
right
bread,
there.
so it'll be easier to tear apart later. Now this guy is doubling up. He's got 2 big slabs of already perforated dough, so his job is just to put moisture on the pillow and put that dough into the oven. You're so quick, you hit the camera. Well done. Handshake? Ah, the fist bump, it never got to Afghanistan, unfortunately. This oven's about 12 or 13 feet deep. It is freaking huge. It is like
Ew.
a big sphere. The fire heats up all the clay on the surface of the tandoor. After 4 or 5 minutes, the bread is finished. And then comes this guy. His job is just to take out the already finished bread. Ooh. Okay, I thought it was his job. I guess this guy's doing double duty. Ooh. Oh my God. All right, so right here we have some
Nah, he
fresh
just
bread.
stole that
Beautiful,
shit.
golden, brown,
He just
flaky.
took it.
This looks incredible. And it smells even better. Those
can smell
perforated edges makes it easy to tear, and it stops all the bread from bubbling up into one big bread bubble. Nobody wants that. This is literally what it means to break bread. Let me try to feed this guy. I think that's normal here. Either I get slapped or he takes a nice big bite. Here, do you want some bread? There we go. It's a country where men aren't afraid to be men. They're very comfortable with each other.
Foreigner just pulls up and feed you, bro.
Amazing. When it's fresh out of the oven, it's light, it's crackery, airy, and just full of fresh bread flavor. As good as this is alone, we are gonna actually be pairing it with that chai naki, which is almost done now. About 3 hours have passed since this started cooking. Now it's time to unveil the final product. Wally, take it away. He peels back this blanket that I guess was helping to hold in the steam and the heat. Boom. There it is. Still absolutely boiling and bubbling away. You can see the meat is really cooked. It's kind of shrunk down. That doomba that's inside has turned the broth into an oily tomato fusion. From here, there's nothing left to do but head to the table and eat.
No, I gotta
folks,
make
this
that.
is our first meal in Afghanistan, and I cannot wait. First of all, it is a tea kettle. I am curious if we're able to pour some broth out.
Oh.
Absolutely not. I think the tea kettle may be clogged. Oh, do you want to take over? All right, he's gonna help me shake it out all the way. Thank you. The food here has undergone quite a transformation. The tomato and the onion have combined with that doomba fat to make a thick, fatty sauce. Here's the thing, no silverware. This is gonna be our eating utensil right here. I wanna start with this sauce that's been made by boiling all those ingredients together.
Ooh, I can taste that.
Oh man, that's perfect. People always talk about including acid if you're eating something heavy. So of course we have this rich meat and this rich fat, and he's cut it with tomato sauce. So it's not overwhelming, it's not overly fatty. And the smell of doomba
I can't
is
eat this.
ever present. Doomba is a type of sheep, but it's also a part of that sheep. And they're using the doomba, that butt fat, in
A wrong turn down maze-like back alleys could lead. Vendor plundering is Afghanistan's most wanted street bite. To make it, first a vendor plunges bare hands into a metal basin, water, wheat flour, and salt. He kneads fast in anticipation of the crowd soon to form. Dough balls hit the counter, flattened into discs the size of a steering wheel. Next comes the covert cargo, mashed potato, blitzed with cumin, turmeric, masala, and a shake of red chili flakes.
Oh, you didn't know this
Thermometers,
shit
no
good, bro.
alarms,
This
or
is
timers. For 30
giant
seconds too long,
samosa, bro.
the whole
Holy
batch
shit.
burns.
And just like that, our $100 challenge has begun here in Afghanistan. Guys, hold on. There's a whole small village of Afghan men who have just arrived to my set. The extras are late. They're supposed to be in the background pretending to work. Now, if I'm honest, the chance of me hitting $100, it's 50-50. The food here, kind of on the cheap side. This is the more expensive version of this dish, and it's still really cheap. For all you see, this big, doughy masterpiece, 30 Afghanis. But other vendors on the street, they're selling it for 10, so that's almost 10 cents. Ridiculous. Let's get into this. If you flip it on this side, you can actually see the seam, like looking at the center of your jeans. I'm just gonna eat it straight up. My first bite. Cheers. At first he fries it gets a little crispy, and he stacks them on top of each other that they start to kind of steam each other, so it gets soft in the end. Aside from the fried bread, you taste the potato inside. I think the potato is meant to give it some body, but if you really want some more flavor, you have to use this chutney over here.
Why the No, this guy is different, bro.
Ooh, that's explosive. I'm told it has coriander, garlic, green chilies, and tomato. It is really...
Nah, you know this shit good, bro. Holy
First, the sting
shit.
of diced cucumber hits the bottom of a tall glass. Next comes a scoop of thick, creamy yogurt, followed by liquid yogurt mixed with dried minced mint.
Oh.
If you've ever had tzatziki sauce from Turkey, that kind of yogurt sauce that has cucumber and garlic inside, it's kind of like that. Cold, cool, refreshing. That is the perfect pair to go with this super fiery chutney soup over here.
This isn't the only improvised edible device we'll be dealing with today. Ahead of us, 7 more street-side dishes, including Afghanistan's national dish, a truly gigantic ticking protein bomb waiting for us at the end of this video.
Before I finish my
really?
different
You're gonna tease me like this?
Deeper into Mandawi Market, and this place is wild. Here there are a bunch of gentlemen who have pre-made a soup, they brought it, and then they scoop it up for patrons who sit down around them like we are right now. What I like about this eating style is it's just super quick and on the go. This is our guy right here, Gorban, and that is his delicious soup. This is a dish known as asha duk. It's creamy and there are noodles inside.
These are wheat noodles. They're served in a warm, hearty soup simmered with tender chickpeas, a pinch of salt, and a sprinkle of freshly chopped coriander.
From here, he puts on a couple of other toppings. This is a spicy, sour red sauce, similar 7 cents. Very affordable. Gosh, it's like condensed dairy that becomes hard like chalk. And then they rehydrate it with water and it becomes a creamy sauce like this. Beyond that, he's got giant spoons that he serves you. I think so you eat faster and leave faster.
Yo, this
yeah,
is
some
ramen,
good competition
bro.
for Kraft macaroni and cheese. That's some cake. The mint gives it our
Where you can do a celebration.
This is a fascinating food because you can find it in so many places. In Korea, they call it mandu. In Kazakhstan, they call it manti. Here, they call it manto. All of them are different forms. You know, we have to make. First of all, my guy right here has the big tawa. I guess that's what you would call it in India. On the side, French fries.
Hey, it's Afghan fries.
Essentially, I'm in the way. No? When he prepares this for each person, he puts the liver in the center and he combines it with a couple of special ingredients. Let's see if he'll do it now for us. So now he brings the liver to the center. He takes some of the grease that the fries are frying in. Boom! Minced garlic, just like that. He minces the chili into tiny little pieces. That is pure flavor. The tomatoes and the liver, those are the main ingredients for everything you see here. It goes on the plate. He hits it with a little bit of cabbage. He hits it with a little bit of dry masala, and then he hands it to his customer.
No, he just took it.
Sir? Where do you, sir? Tashakur. Thank you. Right here we have our most substantial food of the day. That is jigar. Also, a new bread just dropped. This looks very similar to the bread we saw baked in the bakery in the last video. It even has the perforated stripes here for easy tearing, and it has the same texture. It just has a different kind of oblong shape to it. Let's talk about the price. This should be our most expensive dish of the day because it's full of meat. This right here is coming in at a wild 98 cents. That's it. It's pretty remarkable. We've got bread, we've got a micro salad, and we've got a lot of animal liver, all for under $1. Not a bad deal. My first move right here, tear the bread. Oh, it's so satisfying. This is our utensil right here. There we go. Looking nice and greasy. Cheers. Not bad. You know, liver can be dry. It can be even chalky sometimes. That's pretty good. Pretty moist, very seasoned, super heavy and greasy. Liver, especially mutton liver, not my absolute favorite food, but what he's done here, it's nice. Aside from the liver, they are we doing food by food until we hit $100 in Afghanistan. Boom, we're on to our next street food right here. A curious combination of 3 ingredients. Green onion, boiled potato, and right here some boiling chickpeas. That is gonna be the main body for this dish. Let's get into it. It all starts with a bowl. He puts in some boiled shredded potato. He moves over to here. He grabs some chickpeas. Next, green onions going on top. Now it's time for the flavor. Let's put it up here. I'll hold it for you. He puts on a little bit of red chutney, dry masala, and finally some salt. Wait.
That's too thick for me.
Act with bean.
Ask me where I'm from,
That's
their
what she
reaction or hopeful story.
To come here and explore our country. It's a very good country.
Yes, sir.
We have our next street food right here, and this is a wild one. This time instead of liver, we
Wild
have
one?
stomach. That's right. The minced stomach is already coated with a dry seasoning blend with over 10 spices.
You know that shit
then he
good.
adds in a little tomato, and that's it. I'm gonna order right now and see what happens. First, he brings out some of the stomach, he heats it up, he puts it on the plate, he gives it a bit of a smash, boom, and there it is. If I'm honest, I thought there was gonna be more steps. All right, folks, let's get into it. Cow stomach. It's not pretty, but it's not meant to be. Come take a look.
What do you mean it's
Actually,
not
it
as
doesn't look too
beautiful,
bad. I mean,
bro?
the cow stomach is a
Holy
very
shit.
fatty organ, so if you hit it against some hot steel, it could get kind of crunchy. It could create a nice Maillard reaction. So I'm
Yes,
gonna break
sir.
some bread, and we scoop up some of that meat. That is some intense looking meat. Let's give it a shot.
I can feel it in my
It's
mouth,
like
bro.
Afghan
Holy
chitlins. I don't hate
shit.
it. This is not a food for most.
Man, fuck this guy.
You're good.
He living
Here,
too
men
good.
tend the grill, and men line up to eat. So where are the women?
Here's the situation. You know, you read a lot of stuff about the gender situation in Afghanistan before you come here, and then it's a little bit different once you get here.
When the US withdrew and the Taliban took over in 2021, they implemented something called Sharia law, a strict Islamic legal system that even outlaws music.
Wait.
I heard women can only travel with a male relative, but at least in Kabul, I've seen women moving alone and with other women.
On the street so far, I've noticed maybe 20% of the people are women. Not all of them have to be covered up. I mean, there's women walking around just with the hijab on, and there's plenty walking around with what they call the Afghan burqa. I'm not sure what the rules are. I think they have to wear some kind of covering, but it doesn't have to be a burqa.
I heard girls don't receive secondary education, and that's true. Some say the Taliban is just waiting to create the appropriate curriculum, while others admit it'll likely never happen. What's clear is that any topics around women are extremely sensitive.
I met a family today who was Afghan British. They're from the UK, but they came back to visit Afghanistan. They knew my channel, they said hello, and I said, hey, could I take some video of you? And the mother, an Afghan woman wearing a hijab, said, no, it's against the rules. So, evidently, there are some rules.
We ourselves have been told and warned many times not to even film women. By the rules of those who have permitted
And then
us to
he
film
puts it
here,
out,
it's
bro.
like they'd
Holy
prefer you to
shit.
not even know Afghan
Dumbass.
women exist.
So the issue, I would say, is very complicated. From here, I intend to take on Afghanistan's national dish, a dish known as Pulao. We're headed there, not next, but after that. I thought I'd
Man,
chicken grilled
what
every
fuck you
Friday
teasing
month
me for,
begin
bro?
from- It's a giant Ford F1. How much? Let's give it a shot.
I don't care about this one.
Learn around and just more proof. Back up a second. Central Asia is really known for this food. I've had it in Uzbekistan where they call it plov, and I've also had it in Kazakhstan. But here in Afghanistan, they make it a little bit differently. We're gonna head into the kitchen to see how it's done. Under here is a deep pan, and inside of it, there is over 125 pounds of beef. From here, he's gonna pop off the lid, and we're gonna see the beef inside. Oh. Not at all what I expected. It's so watery. Every time I've seen plov or pulao, the meat is seared and then kind of steamed. But here, it's been boiled for a few hours. The first
you
and
know
most
it's
crucial
juicy.
step. He's removing all the big meat chunks from this pan. Right now, he's separating it according to the body part. So he's putting some on this plate, he's putting some in this pot right here.
Oh, that's
Once all of it is organized and removed, he's gonna be able to remove the small bones that have fallen off the meat during this braising process.
a lot of fucking work.
Now that our deg is clean, it is time to build up the pulao, starting with a thin layer of carrots to insulate the pan from the meat. The next step is dumping all that clean meat back into the deg. He has to place each piece perfectly so it can balance well with the heat and with the rice. It's a puzzle of protein. Time for the broth. Ooh, it smells like a nice beef crock pot. Now it's time to introduce some new ingredients. Up first, the carrot. Next up, he's putting in raisins.
Oh.
And now he leaves for a cigarette. So I thought he was coming out here for a smoke, but no, he came out here to light up the gas stove.
The stove slowly
Ha,
heats
this
up.
dude, bruh.
Finally, the rice, the true hero of this operation, marches to the front lines. Salt and cumin follow as reinforcements. Now, the fire does its work. Afghanistan's pulao comes in many forms, each with its own meaty twist. But this one is the crown jewel, rich, meaty rice cooked to perfection.
2 hours has passed, and at last it is time to reveal the final
2
pulao
hours.
product.
This is Kabuli Pulao.
The rice has steamed up beautifully. Look at these long grains, raisins, the carrots. Now he is making my portion of pulao, the biggest portion possible on this platter right here. Starts with steamed rice. He hits it with that giant piece of beef, and then he puts some smaller pieces of beef on the outside. Slowly, he starts to reveal the carrots and raisins. And that, my friends, is the final product. It looks amazing.
Nah,
Let's go
that's
try it out.
$2.
All right, folks, our final meal of the day, here it is, Afghan pulao. The way they prepared it here, it's pretty different than what I've seen in other locations. It's more simple, but I love what they're doing with these big chunks of beef. And that is what we're gonna be building up to for this meal. We have the pulao, but we have a couple other things here too. First of all, a pickled vegetable. We'll try that later. Right here, Uzbek bread. So I've actually seen this type of bread being made before in Uzbekistan. It's gorgeous. Then there's a plate of beans. Probably they mix this with the rice, but I'm just gonna go beans.
Yeah. What the
Rich
fuck is
people
the
go
beans
crazy for
doing
this.
there,
It's
bro?
just beans from a can. Let's get into our pulao, our most expensive meal of the day. This is a double portion, and it costs only $10. That's remarkable. Ideally, you want that rice to be absolutely saturated in the fat from the beef and the oil. This place, they are so proud of their oil. The oil they're using, sesame oil. That is what makes this place stand out from the others.
Oh, I can feel
The
it.
raisins just offer this hit of sweetness. It pairs perfectly with that really heavy rice. The carrot looks beautiful. I'm a big fan. Next, I want to get into smaller pieces of beef. It's so tender, and the fat and the tissues have really broken down, but I gotta say, it's not much flavor. Let's hit it with a little bit of salt. Pablo Escobar over here. Some red chili powder, and a mystery powder. Now we're gonna take another piece. The salt and the seasonings just bring out even more flavor. That's exactly
Why
what
you
it
do
was
them like
missing.
that, though?
A new neighbor to the right is a member of the Taliban,
How you doing?
with his rifle resting just out of frame.
Salam. Thank you.
Perhaps that explains why he keeps stealing glances at my crew and me.
He just trying to eat.
Are we interrupting you? Okay. This is obviously meant for a group, but I feel like an Afghan king right now. And the bread, I bet it's delicious. So that is Afghan Pulao, and that is our 8th and final street food of the day. But we still have one thing left to do, and that is adding up all the food throughout the day to see if we spend over $100.
After a day of eating, I didn't come close to hitting my goal.
It's a life. You make a workout art out of your skewer.
Next, I'll be touring local eateries.
Is golden here in the capital city of enemy absolutely not. He is the inventor.
And Burger came to life 21 years ago when this restaurant first opened its doors.
Once the burger is finished, it goes to this man right here, and he puts on a white sauce plus a red sauce.
Back then, it was an instant hit, and it's still going strong now, selling around 2,000 burgers each day.
You don't have to get a burger if you don't want to. You can just do something like this. You can get a plate full of fries, and they'll smother that with toppings as well. That sound like burger? One more time.
Burger.
Nice. This is a ridiculously affordable
Burger.
$1.12. First, let's talk about this. I love a nice red wiener like this. How is it so bright red? That's what I would like to know. But that is not even the most strange meat on this plate. They call it chicken ham. This is some kind of a processed meat loaf. Perhaps but not bad. It's wet. Very all together. Let's in the outside.
Afghans scrape by. Here, the rich life can mean earning as little as $30,000 a year, with a tiny few making up to 6 figures. But 6 figures in a country like this means living like a millionaire.
I did some research. Let's talk about some of those industries. Most of the high earners in this country have made money through imports or exports, construction, real estate, banking, mining, natural resources, political connections or corruption, or the drug trade. Maybe a bit social of an area to talk about these topics.
Later, we'll be taking on a dish so expensive, it costs more than what the average Afghan person earns in a month.
If you're somebody who can't really choose, here you go.
What
But
the
before
fuck?
that, one of this country's
Is in full action.
it's meat, it's on a skewer, it's grilled to smoky perfection. Kebabs are everywhere. Each place puts
Welcome to making 1,000 meatballs. This country put more.
the kebab
Of charcoal heart. Basically,
beef.
let's talk about kebab being made on salt, and they grind it up like this. Here is they use their bread to strip off the meat, fold it over. That's good. It's juicy, it's flavorful, but it's infused with the cow.
Nah, it
meat.
was so
Perhaps it's not
juicy
those
when I
things,
had
but let me tell
one,
you,
bro.
even if that is crotch, that's some good crotch. Now here's the fun part. When you come to Afghanistan, they actually do have Coke and maybe even Pepsi too, but they have their own brands as well. But the charcoal just brings out so much flavor. It's smoky. We have our last most expensive kebab, a kebab that you have to be careful with because
I have decided to give them a sale. That's some good shit right there. Some good food. Let's take a look at the geography. See what they got. It's a bunch of mountains. Ooh. It's kind of cool. Nature. Okay. Damn. Okay. This is not real. Holy shit. Damn. Yeah, I don't know why they got this one, bro. Damn. I'm gonna give it a 4. 5. A 5. A cool 5. Damn, let's see the endemic species. Okay. Let's go to iNaturalist. Race runner. Afghan race runner. Marco Polo sheep. Oh, these motherfuckers. Take a look at this one. Snow leopard. They get a 4. It's not bad. History. Now we get into the deep of the shits, bro. Alright. Now is the fun part. I don't care that much about the old histories, the medieval ones. I don't care that much. We live in the present. I care more about the Soviets. When the Soviets invaded, when the US invaded, and now and before the Soviets, all that bullshit. Complete, nah. Super quick, this is what I like.
Hello everyone, and
This is what I like.
welcome to Mr.
Oh, who shot him?
This is a map of Asia, and here is Afghanistan. It has only been called Afghanistan, which means place or land of the Afghans, since the mid-1700s. Before that, it had a number of names and underwent a whole lot of history. Now let's dash through it all, shall we? Somewhere between 3000 and 2000 BC, urban communities began arising in the land. This may have coincided with the arrival of the Iranian peoples, who would later dominate the region. They certainly would have traded with the neighboring Indus Valley civilization, and indeed, Indus towns like Shortugai have been found in Afghanistan. For those who don't know, the Indus Valley civilization was among the earliest civilizations ever to appear on the planet. In northern Afghanistan, later called Bactria by the Greeks, there existed from around 2300 to 1700 BC a civilization located on the Oxus River, where farming communities supported a culture of big buildings and where there were skilled metalworkers who made cool stuff like this. Assyrian and Median rule ensued, and sometime later, the land we know as Afghanistan was conquered by the Persians under Darius I in around 515 BC. Before and during this time, the people followed the Zoroastrian religion, and it is thought that the prophet Zoroaster lived and died in Afghan lands. Afghan peoples like the Bactrians were recruited into the Persian army to fight Persia's wars, including the failed invasions of Greece. Greek revenge for this came with Alexander the Great. He conquered the Persian Empire, which of course included Afghanistan, and left Greeks in control.
Macedonian
Greek influence and culture
or Greek?
spread everywhere, coexisting and
I
fusing
don't
with
know.
Buddhism, which was introduced from India, and a treaty made with the Mauryan dynasty of India gave the Indian crown rule over much of Afghanistan. It seems strange, but there were Greek cities in Afghanistan, with theatres and temples and Corinthian columns and marble statues and gymnasiums and so on, and good diplomatic relations with India, in whose courts were Greek ambassadors. Anyway, as ever, it ended. Grecian rule divided and declined, and as usual, invaders pounced on the limping prey. The pouncers in question were the Indo-Scythians, a branch of a widespread nomadic Iranian people, and much of Afghan land fell to their rule. Later, the land ended up under Parthian Persian rule. Total Persian control did not last, and the distinct Indo-Parthian kingdom came about, known today mainly for its Greco-Buddhist art. Then what happened? Well, you may not know it, but the ancient inhabitants of much of western China were Caucasian, and one such tribe, known as the Yuezhi, were attacked by another Caucasoid Chinese people, the Wusun, and migrated west out of Gansu, eventually settling in, you guessed it, Afghanistan. They rose to dominance, joined in the swirling cultural concoction of Greek, Buddhist, Zoroastrian, and Hindu influence, and established the Kushan Empire. The Kushan Empire, which expanded this far at its height. Kushan rulers like Kanishka I were great champions of Buddhism and were instrumental in transmitting that religion to China via the Silk Road trading route. In 225, the Kushan Empire split in half, and the western Afghan half was gobbled up by the Persians again. Their rule was interrupted by the arrival of another nomadic people, the Hanna tribes, maybe related to the Huns, who ruled for around a century and didn't do much. The Sasanian Persians defeated them in 565, and Afghanistan had some decades of relative stability. Enter the Arabs. In 642, the Arabs invaded, bringing their new religion, Islam. It took 150 years to subdue the hardy Afghan mountain fighters,
Damn.
but Islam took root in the land and has dominated it ever since.
Yo,
No, the military
America,
might did not last,
you're gonna
nor did
need
the
100
Arabic
more
language
years, bro.
spread, but Islam did both in the region. As the centuries passed, various Muslim dynasties fought each other for control of the land, which became more and more Persian in culture. Afghan cities like Balkh and Herat became rivals to Baghdad in
Damn.
Islamic civilization, but that didn't last because... Do you hear that? It's the Mongols! Genghis Khan's invasion of Afghanistan was rapid and brutal, and the great centers of culture were totally trashed. Cities destroyed, and people mass slaughtered, pushing Afghanistan back into a dark age of backwardness.
Genghis
Ironically, a
Khan,
descendant
bro.
of Genghis Khan, Timur, was the one who later rebuilt and beautified Afghan cities. From the 1500s to the 1700s, Afghanistan was split between the rule of Mughal India, Safavid Persia, and the Turkic Khanate of Bukhara. In 1722, Afghan armies under Mahmud Otak actually conquered Persia, but this only lasted a few years as the unlucky Afghans had to face maybe the greatest military leader in Persia's history, Nadir Shah, who promptly defeated them. When Nadir was assassinated, Ahmed Shah Durrani was chosen as the king of Afghanistan, whose conquests included the invasion of India, taking the Punjab region away from the infidel Hindus, and sacking Delhi and Amritsar, where he slaughtered the Sikhs and destroyed their golden temple. However, as seen so often in history, military success alone cannot guarantee or sustain a land's stability, and the Durrani Empire soon began to weaken in power. Afghanistan then had to deal with enemies on both sides, Persia to the west and the Sikhs in the east, both of whom regained lands from Afghan rule. And then along came the British, who were concerned that Russia might have its eyes on Afghanistan. The Brits invaded and eventually won, but did not add the land to the British Empire, but rather...
This is where it all begins. The ones I care about.
let Afghanistan remain independent, wishing to keep it as a buffer between them and the Russians. The British kept the upper hand, controlling Afghan foreign relations, and this eventually caused the Afghan invasion of British India in 1919. The result was a stalemate, but Afghanistan gained independence while agreeing not to attack British-held lands. Many Afghan politicians at this time, like Mahmoud Tarzi, were reform-minded, opposing religious extremism, promoting education, wanting to westernize and secularize the nation, and maybe even give women a bit of freedom. In 1923, slavery was abolished, but when the reforms started encroaching into the realm of burqa banning, many Afghan tribal leaders, all men of course, were outraged. There followed a troubled time of leaders abdicating or being assassinated. Now, while it remained neutral during the Cold War, Afghanistan happily accepted Soviet-Russian development aid, with Russia building up Afghan infrastructure, roads and airports. In 1973, the monarchy was abolished by this guy, Dawood Khan, who became the first president, but was assassinated in 1978 by this guy, who was later killed by the KGB. The Saur Revolution saw the communists get control of Afghanistan, but again their ideas of reform angered the traditionally minded Muslim populace. Of course there was a civil war, and the violence went on and on and on until... well, it hasn't actually ended yet. Now, division in the Communist Party led to a leadership change, which displeased Moscow and led to the Soviet 40th Army entering Kabul and putting a pro-Soviet leader in power. While the Soviets did not plan on a long stay, they were met with such fierce resistance that the conflict was prolonged for nearly 10 years, during which time the Russians held the cities, while the Mujahideen rebels held the countryside, receiving
funded by who?
Military aid from Pakistan, money from Saudi Arabia, and training and support from America. After the Soviets withdrew, the violence was far from over, as various factions disagreed and clashed and caused more chaos. In 1994, one faction began to rise in prominence, the Taliban, with its own particular plans for an Afghan utopia. With Pakistani support, it grew in power and conquered Kabul, and gained control of most of the country, imposing a harsh Sharia-based totalitarian regime, and destroying ancient Buddhist monuments. Taliban rule was fertile soil for the growth of Al-Qaeda, a militant organization who believed that the West wanted to get rid of Islam. It was Al-Qaeda and its Saudi leader Osama bin Laden who were the immediate suspects of instigating the September 11 attacks in New York City, and the US speedily invaded Afghanistan and easily toppled the Taliban regime. Bin Laden escaped into Pakistan, however, where he hid for 10 years before being killed by US Navy SEALs in Operation Neptune Spear. But the Taliban persists in its efforts at regaining power. NATO troops remain in Afghanistan, training and supporting the government troops. 2/3 of Al-Qaeda's operatives have been killed or captured, but it isn't over yet. How do you think it will end? Comment below, but for now, bye-bye.
I'm just randomly guessing right now. I feel like in 2021, the US will maybe withdraw from Afghanistan completely due to widespread pressure and questioning of why the fuck are they in Afghanistan still. And it will be a quick and messy withdrawal. This is all just me guessing, by the way. And then after that, authoritarian, power-hungry politician that becomes a president will come in and say, hey, I hated that withdrawal, and will try to push for America to go back to Afghanistan. That's just my guess. Damn. It's another country destroyed by greed, by just motherfuckers fighting to see whose cock is bigger, bro. The entire Cold War, that's it. That's just the summary of Cold War. Just who's got a bigger cock. Crazy shit. Rich ass history. Diminished. Destroyed. Erased. Because someone decided they didn't like someone else. And then they're fighting for influence. They want more strings on their puppet hands. And then they destroy nations around the world. And now the Taliban is ruling them. Crazy shit. American funded, American created this problem. And now they're acting like, oh, they're bad. It is bad. It is bad. Women can't live. They don't even want women like that. Like, what the fuck, man? Yo, Afghanistan. Deal with... Get your shit together, bro. What the fuck you mean? No writing books. No speaking in public. No music. No showing yourself as a human. Bro, you don't even have money to feed them. Fuck you mean? Fucked up world. It's got rich history. Fucked up over the past 150 years or 100 years. So I'm gonna give it a 7. Crazy. Crazy how they're fucked by just powerful people pulling strings. Man, one last time for Afghanistan, bro. Where'd it go?
Dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur. Satu I pasru vinu, dada shahidano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur.
Even though they ban music, they got a banger of a national anthem.
Dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur. Stakani au buti tul munga talalu nadi, stakani au buti tul munga talalu nadi. Vina pritu shavida sralaka gulu nadi, vina pritu shavida sralaka gulu nadi. Kalai tukni walai shi dadi dazmariano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur. Kalai tukni walai shi dadi dazmariano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur. Satu I pasru vinu, dada shahidano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano kur, dada baturano. باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور کعبۃ الازاد ساتو څو چې وژوندون زمون
Except if you're a woman though.
آزاد ساتو څو چې وژوندون زمون ستا تاریخ بیات ساتو څو چې وژوندون زمون ستا تاریخ بیات ساتو څو چې وژوندون زمون دی کی په بازان وسی دا د بازانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دی کی په بازان وسی دا د بازانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ای ګران وطن زما زار شمالتان ز ای ګران وطن زما زار شمالتان ز ای خوږه چمن زما زار شمالتان ز ای خوږه چمن زما زار شمالتان ز خلاص کړ لانګې زمونږ شو د وروسانو ګور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور خلاص کړ لانګې زمونږ شو د وروسانو
It's a banger, isn't it?
دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ډیری ککرای ګورا پاتې دروسانو شوي ډیری ککرای ګورا پاتې دروسانو شوي شنډې د هر یو دښمن واړه ارزوګان شوي شنډې د هر یو دښمن واړه ارزوګان شوي هر چاته معلوم شولو دا د افغانانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور هر چاته معلوم شولو دا د افغانانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, what the fuck did I click in? Beautiful. Holy shit. See, this is the type of national anthem I was saying with my heart. Tomorrow, we're heading to Albania, the land of Dua Lipas. It's gonna be great. I already know it's gonna be great, but they have also a long history. Complicated. Not like Afghanistan though, I think. I hope not. Took me 2 fucking days to research Afghanistan. But yeah, I can't believe Afghanistan got a 5 though. That's pretty fucking high. That's a high ass score. But I'll see you guys tomorrow in Albania.